No cares or woes, whatever comes. Later goes, that's how I'll take it, I'll give. Devil may care when the day is through. I suffer no regrets. I know that he who frets loses the night. For only a fool thinks he can hold back the dawn. He who is wise never tries to revise what's past and gone. Live love today, let come tomorrow what may. Don't even stop for a sigh. It doesn't help if you cry. That's how I'll live and I'll die. Devil may care. No case for me. I'm happy as I can be. I've learned to love and live. Devil may care. No, who cares who owns whatever ever comes. Later goes, that's how I'll take and give. Devil may care. Now when the day is through, I suffer no regrets. I know that he who frets loses the night. For only a fool thinks he can hold back the dawn. He who is wise never tries to revise what's past and gone. Live love today, let come tomorrow with May. Don't even stop for a sigh. It doesn't help if you cry. That's how I live and die. Devil may care. For me, I'm happy as I can be. I've learned to love and live. Devil may care. No cares or woes, whatever comes. Later goes, that's how I'll take and I'll give. Devil may care. Now when the day is through, I suffer no regrets. I know that he who frets loses the night. For only a fool thinks he can hold back the dawn. He who is wise never tries to revise what's past and gone. Live love today, let come tomorrow with me. Don't even stop for a sigh. It doesn't help if you cry. That's how I live and die. Devil may care. Devil may care. Devil may care. Devil may care. That's how I live and die. We
excellent.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sacha
You want to know
Boutros.
why running on the treadmill 7 days a week doesn't work for you when you're
No,
trying to lose weight?
No, I don't want to know
It never
that.
has.
I
know it's hard to
actually do
believe,
not
but
want to
it's
know
true.
that. Wow, I don't know. He just popped right into our life.
I know why it doesn't work for me because I don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know why it doesn't work for me because I do it for like maybe 10 minutes. So that's why it doesn't work for me. Well, this is Sacha Boutros, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm Sacha and I don't really know each other very well, and I'm really happy to get to know her. I think she's a great singer, and it's exciting for me always to hear and start to get to know another singer who I think is really great. So I'm happy.
Thank you. I'm happy too because I know that you're also a wonderful songwriter. And one
Oh,
time you
thank
did
you.
that beautiful song Diane because
Oh,
I was touched by the lyrics. So it's
thanks.
be with you. More about
Thank
you.
you. Thanks. Yeah, Diane, you know that the story on that was a friend of mine. I started writing it about a girlfriend of mine, and like I got the beginning of it, and then in that period, I met a little girl. I was singing at a wedding, and you know how little girls just are so friendly. You know, really young. You know, she crawled up on my lap. I was on a break, and she was like talking to me, and you know, her face, her face was right here, and yeah, I just totally fell in love with her. So I finished the song about her, and yeah, very beautiful. Yeah,
You sang that at your house. This must have been like 15 years ago. I was at your house.
15 years ago.
I think so. I'm trying to remember. I remember that I was working with Gerald Clayton a little bit, like here and there, you know.
Yeah.
And I would see Gretchen around, and she said, "Hey, do you want to come to this workshop I'm doing?" And I said, "Sure." And he asked me because he used to come down here and play on Tuesdays for Gilbert Castellanos' jam session. And so I said, "Sure." I said, "Where is it?" She says, "It's at my friend Cathy's house. You have to meet Cathy." And so I went up, and it was in your little music room there. We were all together, and
Right.
and then you got up and you sang Diane.
Wow. And you remembered from then?
Oh yeah. And I actually asked you for the music, and you did give it to me, and then I moved, and I couldn't find it afterwards because I lost some of my boxes of you move and you lose boxes. I lost a box of not only books that were autographed, but and some coins collection that I had just kind of disappeared into thin air. Also a box of sheet music of all my classical music, and your little book. There was a little book from you in there. I think it was dark red or something.
A song book or something, because I was selling selling or giving away books of like
I might have bought it.
Wow. Well, I'll be happy to send you the music.
Yeah, because my godmother's name is Diane, and I always wanted to sing that for her.
Oh, that's sweet. That's very nice. Well, I'll definitely send it. I forgot when I met you, and 15 years ago. Yeah, that seems about right. When Gretchen might have been here, and
2005 maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm totally dating us right now.
I don't really care, actually. I mean, whatever.
People still think I'm like 30 or 28 or something, so I just let them think that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Why not? You were that record. When was that record done?
Oof, so long ago. 2013, I think we recorded it.
Okay, because the picture of you does look a little younger.
Yeah, thinner and younger.
And that happens. See, it just happens.
Show me those earrings. I want to see your earrings. Oh, those are great.
Thank you. I discovered that I have to be kind of flashy with my earrings on this, because otherwise the earrings kind of blend into my hair or something, So I just think your singing is great, and Your life has been really interesting, and you're in San Diego right now, right?
Yes, but I live in Paris. I live
Yeah,
in Montmartre, but I came home for the holidays.
yeah. You speak a bunch of languages.
Yes,
How many is a bunch?
I think like six.
Wow, fluently.
I speak Spanish, English, French, Italian fluently. I speak some Swiss German. I speak
Mm.
Portuguese proficiently, enough that I got around Portugal and could speak. I mean, I'm kind of choppy speaking, but I understand everything.
Yeah, and you can sing, and you obviously sing in Portuguese. Yeah.
And I speak some Arabic,
Mm.
and I'm learning Russian right now,
Oh gosh.
which is really hard because I'm trying to learn the alphabet, memorize
I
it.
tried to learn Russian for some reason when I went to Yugoslavia and hung out there for a while. I don't know why I picked Russian. I didn't know any Russians, or it was like that. Probably no, probably wasn't the. That was hard language,
Do
really
you
hard
drink
language.
vodka? Because if you drink vodka, maybe you'll like learn Russian. I that's a funny language just to choose in itself. I chose it because I like a lot of the Russian songs and I want to be able to actually know what I'm singing.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to know what you're singing.
I have a Russian opera teacher, so I
Oh,
would
okay.
like to I'd like to speak with her in Russian, which would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. And classical music. I mean, it's really nice to know what you're singing about in classical music, right? The text is so important.
Absolutely. So that you
Yeah,
can portray the message of what you're singing.
yeah. So, what? How did you come to go to Europe?
So about 3 years ago, I had a near-death experience.
Really?
Yeah. And before that, I went to Europe every April on tour. So I would go to play Pizza Express in London. I would play
Okay.
Music Village in Brussels, and I would do like a tour. And I'd always stop in Paris, and of course, drop my CD off at the Duc de Lombard and hoping to get some things going. And Paris was very closed, for
Yeah.
at the time. And I went every April, and I have family in Paris. But then I had this near death experience, and I kind of woke up. And in that moment that I woke up, I had this consciousness for just a moment with not much fear in just that moment. And I said, wow, I'm standing in my own way. We can really do anything we want as human beings. And because of our fear, we tend to not put that record out, or not, wear that dress, or not write the book, or what are they going to say, or what are people going to, with, I don't want to move because, maybe my life is better here. And what if I don't go? And in that moment, all those kinds of things were just, psh, and I said, wow, I've wanted to leave San Diego my whole life and I've never gone. I've lived part-time in different places, but never really took in the leap. And there's this, I love reading Joseph Campbell, and in there it says, when coming to a great chasm in life, jump. The gap is not as wide as you think. I really did jump, and I jumped all the way to Paris because I had this childhood fantasy that my grandmother had lived there, and I'd heard all these stories about her being like a woman in business and being, really authentic and really headstrong and going at it. And she did really well. And she lived on the Champs-Elysees. She had this dream life. And I kind of thought, oh, I want that. I want that old 1930s kind of Paris, which my father sat me down and said didn't exist, but there was no dissuading me. I made everything possible. I started working every day, and I just all of a sudden, when I started to move towards that direction, it's like the universe was conspiring to give me the same thing. And I worked almost every day for 2 years to make that living, to be able to save enough to move and do everything I needed to do. And then suddenly I got, jobs all over Paris and jobs all over Europe, up to Istanbul,
Oh,
by just working really hard. And so I moved. I went there 3 years ago, back and forth. I did like 2 months. I'm sorry, 1 month here, then month there, 3 months here. I did this little bit for a year. And then I took the leap like in April of 2018. And I actually just rented a place. And then I just asked, can I stay? And I had to come back. I had contracts here and a tour here up the coast and around USA. So I actually ended up paying for the apartment for 3 months and not staying there. and then going back and staying till now. So I basically live in Paris now, which is funny to say when I come home because San Diego's home.
Wow. That sounds very exciting and challenging and rewarding and but lots of those kinds of words.
Well, it's starting from scratch at 39 years old. It wasn't fun.
Oh, I'm sure it was fun.
There were fun things, but I
Yeah.
mean, when you've built a career for 20 years and then you go somewhere and you're the new kid on the block, you've got to restart and reprove yourself and re-go to the jam sessions and do all those things that like after 20 years you're like I only do that if I want to have fun,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, this was actually to meet people and to build a community that you or enter the community, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I chose probably the hardest place on earth because I feel like if I had gone to New York, uh, New Yorkers let you throw down, you know, what do you got? And then
Yeah.
if you got it, you're invited.
Yeah.
And everybody builds together. In France, it's you just got to keep showing up because you're not French. That's about it. You're just not French. So it's like the American is still here, you know, the American in the room. They love Americans that are touring there, but the ones that live there, it takes a while to establish yourself because you're not French.
I always got that from traveling through France. I always got like, you know, yeah, oh, you're American. It's just some kind of disappointment in it or something. But
I don't get that, but I think it comes from like, you know, Charles de Gaulle in World War II and the Americans coming in and saving the French, and then there being a disdain since then somehow. Because prior to that, they loved Americans.
yeah, some kind of ego thing, huh?
Although at the Ritz, it was funny when the confinement lifted in September. Colin, who's the famous bartender there, told me that they really missed the Americans because they had to close 2 days a week because there was no business without them.
Well, but that's business. So, oh, that's really cool. It's cool because, I mean, I've always thought when I've thought of considered moving at various times in my life, I always thought, well, it's not really starting over. It's just getting to know the people in a different place. But I'm still me. I'm bringing me. So you obviously brought you, and that was impressive enough for them to open the door and let you in, right?
Yeah, I think I had to axe the door open a little bit sometimes, which is the American thing, to just persevere.
Yeah.
Saying, no, we don't want you. And they're like, hi, I'm still here. So that's not very French. And then I kept showing up, you know, and sometimes they would say, no, you can't sing, you know, at jam sessions. No, you can't sing. No, you can't sing.
Really?
And so I would just jump on the stage. Well, later, you know, not really mean, just roundabout. And all the girls are shivering who want to get up on the stage at the Duke at Fridays and Saturdays because there's like 17 horn players, you know, holding their horns, waiting to go, and they're all guys, and the girls are terrified to push their way on stage because they're younger and they're intimidated. And so I just jump on the stage sometimes. Well, I think the first time I went there, they said, oh, later. And I said, no, now. And I told the pianist the key, and I just counted and went straight in, and I started singing, and I was right in tune. So he had to, you know, and then the bass player goes, oh, she can sing. So I was invited back every time after, but it was funny because I realized that if I played the waiting game, I would just still be waiting.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very nice of me, but I apologized later to Jérôme Portal, who now we work with all the time, and he was laughing about it, saying, you know, like, no. Once I heard you could sing, you were, hello. He goes, let's make music together.
Yeah. And you sing different styles too, right?
Yeah, I sing. I started with opera, so I was an opera singer before being a jazz singer. And then I sing Latin jazz and bossa nova, and I mean pop, everything really. I mean, I think I'm really a jazz singer,
Yeah.
but I got wise to the fact that when someone would come, you know, let's say about 15 years ago or 12 years ago and say to me, oh, darn, you sing jazz. Darn, we have this corporate event and it pays really well. And we needed somebody to sing Latin jazz. Well, great. I do that, you know?
I like it. It's the can-do attitude. It's
Of
like,
course.
it's
And
like,
yeah, if I couldn't do something, I would say, well, I can get you the group. And then I would book another group. Instead
right.
of losing the client or losing that relationship, I would keep that relationship. So then a lot of those companies like Pfizer and different big companies come back and say, hey, we need a top 40 band. Hey, we need a blonde jazz singer that's really tall. You know, it's like, I mean, the requests are funny sometimes.
That's great. I love that. I love that. It's right up my alley. I'm going to look and see. People are saying hi. I don't know if you know these people. Lisa Rich,
Hello, Lisa.
Roland Ascaruns.
But we have people online. How do I see their comments? Oh, here.
You should be able to see it
there
on
we go.
Facebook. Yeah.
There we go. Roland and Steve and Toby. I
Yep.
hope you speak one language. Toby, I hope you speak that language well.
I have a feeling it's English. Yeah, I travel a lot to Japan now, and Japan, that's one thing. I would not want to live in Japan because of the perspective of the Japanese people, of people living in Japan. Traveling through Japan is fine, it's great, and the artists really are more sane than anybody, but yeah, if you live there and you're a foreigner, there's a particular look about that.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that. Hello, Christina. Christina's a singer in Paris.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, so tell me your experience in Japan, because I got signed there and I still am on contract there. And
Oh.
I found that really harsh working there. Tell me about your experience being there.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've been going for years and years. I've probably been like 40 times. So there's a lot of different experiences, but overall, in Japan, some of the best people are artists, any kind of artist, and farmers.
Artists and farmers.
Yeah, those are the best people. They're just like really down to earth and organic, and they know that life includes other things, that are important. The business people, no matter how nice they are, they really have a perspective that they're operating from. So you have to be very definite about what you desire. Anything, even down to the food they're serving you or something, like you're on the road, you're on a train and they go, oh yeah, we'll just get you a little bento box, no, I actually need da 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 da, so that's my best advice. And it's it's the big cities are feel like to me like other planets, they're similar to us but not us. They really operate differently in certain ways, and as like the farmers, the outskirts of Japan, the islands and the cities that are out of the main drive are really nice, and the people generally are really nice. What else would you like to know?
Well, did you have to negotiate your own contracts?
Well, I always went I did. And I always went through smaller people. I had a booking agent for a long time who owned a music school, and he and I would just decide how much I was getting. He brought me over a lot. Like the first 10 years, he brought me over 3 times a year. So, huh?
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that was the other thing is the Japanese are very loyal. So if you hook up with somebody who's who you like and who does a good job for you, they probably will book you forever.
Oh yeah, I had a wonderful booking gentleman. His name was Mr. Yoshi.
Mm-hmm.
And he booked Fred Holloway, and he booked a lot of the old horn players and Clark Terry and different people. and Marlena Shaw he brought, and he passed away, unfortunately, but he had hooked me up with a record label. So I every time I put out a record, I give it to them. They put out a record there. But I found it very interesting that since I was negotiating for myself, and they asked me like, well, don't you have a man to talk for you? You know, and they're older and older, that old Japanese culture. It's the, when I was there, I experienced you walk behind the man, you sit behind the man, you eat after the man. And exactly what you said though about being direct and straight about what you want. When I'm negotiating my contracts, they kind of do this cat and mouse game back and forth.
Yes.
And offer me like nothing basically.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, this is what I want. And then they say like, basically, how dare you have say, you know, talk to us so directly and whatever and whatever and whatever and whatever. And in the end, I end up getting close to that, which is far from what they first offered. But first they threaten me and tell me they're going to drop me and that they don't need me and all this stuff. And so then I say, okay. And then they come back and give me the offer. And I realize it's this funny game.
Yes.
Like, and also it's because I'm a woman. So
yes. And that is true. Now, I mean, it's in your favor that you're a foreign woman. So,
yeah.
you know, and maybe with a guy, you know, maybe with a nice person that you trust and who can kind of cross over both into the, you know, polite way of doing business and handle your stuff the way you like it. That could be very nice, you know, but it's still, you know, the younger people have more of our thinking, right? And they do know the old style too. So that can be very nice. But yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen though, you know, and I think you can get along exactly how your situation just turned out, how you were just saying. You can always get along like that. You know, and they will play that cat and mouse game.
I think now there's a relationship, and like you said, there's loyalty. I get a Christmas card every year and a birthday card, and it's just very sweet of them, and they're very kind. And the first album did so well. I think that when it came to the second one, it was easier to negotiate because of that. But yeah, I found it funny because I learned the hard way that when the promoter had asked us, we were flying to Oita, and the promoter had asked us that they offered us an upgrade to first class. And it came with a meal, even though it was a very short flight. He said, who would like to upgrade? And he said it was so much money. And two of the guys said no, and two of the guys said yes. And since he said no, then the two guys said no afterwards. And then I said yes, because it was like $80 or something, $100. And I was exhausted. Like he had us working like every day in a different city, plane, train or whatever, you know, like we didn't sleep. It was like 3 hours of sleep on the road every night. So
yeah,
I thought, oh, I'm going to recline, I'm going to eat, I'm going to fall asleep for 40 minutes, whatever, however short it was, I was going to sleep.
Yeah.
So he didn't talk to me for 2 days.
Because
I should have understood that when he didn't upgrade his flight to first class and the two gentlemen that wanted to resigned their thing out of respect because he didn't go first, they had to come back, like that I was also supposed to do the same thing, and I was supposed to know that since he's not sitting first that I have to sit behind. And so I had to say, you know, what is it, gomennasai, you know,
sorry.
And I had to keep bowing, and he was older, so I had to tell him that I was so ignorant that I didn't know the culture. Would he please forgive me for being such a young, foolish woman? And he said, oh, of course. He says, you know, girls don't know much sometimes, you know, you young girls, whatever, you don't know our culture, whatever. And because the guys told me exactly what to say.
Yeah.
And you actually have to say this.
Yes.
And you just bite the bullet and say this. And it's going to sound probably weird to you as an American woman, but we'd have to do the same thing as boys if we had done it and he got mad at us. But it's worse because you're a girl and you basically showed him you don't need him, that you're better than him. That's how he interpreted you taking the seat, even though he offered it to you. You're supposed to say no, thank you. And so I did that, and he got all like teary-eyed. And he goes, it wasn't your fault. Don't worry. You didn't know, you know, the boys should have told you how to operate or something. And I was just like, you know, it was like, it was 2 days of stress on everybody because I did that.
That's what I mean. Japan to me is like a different planet. It looks like ours, you know, but it's not. It's something else.
No, and what I didn't understand is like when they offer you food, you have to eat it or it's rude. So they got us a fish, you know, a sushi that was live and it was a delicacy. It was still moving and they severed the optic nerve and the dude was going like on my plate and they're like, eat. And they're sitting there watching me and I'm like, you know, I'm 25 years old and I'm going, I don't know if I want to eat the thing that's moving in front of me, even though I love fish and my dad is like a super famous chef and we've eaten live fish before, but I'm watching this guy suffer to death and they're like, you eat, it's good, you know,
I have found that you do not actually have to eat everything. You can actually turn it down. I mean, you don't want to turn, like, say there's 6 things on the table. You don't want to turn down everything, but you know, you can turn or taste a little and then put it, whatever, you know, but you can work your way around that. But anyway, well, how about, but you've been traveling so much. So there must have been some really outrageous experiences that you've had in Europe, right?
Some, yes, some fun things.
What are the fun? Give me one fun thing. I want to know.
One thing. Trying to remember outrageous experiences.
Well, if that's too hard, just give me a fun thing.
I'm sure there's something, but I have to think about it. Oh, something really funny. In Istanbul, they did an interview with me on one of the main news stations. Like they're basically CNN or something about like, you know, me coming in and I guess I have a following in Istanbul I didn't know about. And this wonderful producer, Özlem Baz, had brought me in and she usually brought classical music artists. But she wanted me to come in. So I had this amazing lady come up and talk to me and they had a translator and did this beautiful interview. And while they interviewed me, I had the low cut shirt and I had, you know, this is my grandmother's Guadalupe. And she kept taking my hair and going, you know, she kept saying, could you lower your chest? Could you take, she put the lady behind and she made sure like nothing was showing, you know, and she stuck my hair like this because she said 7 million people were going to see this interview. And I remember her but the cameraman kept going like this. And she kept turning and yelling at him in Turkish, you know, like, hey, you know, yeah. And she kept, and so she finally took my hair and kind of tucked it into my blouse. And said, okay, we can start the interview now. That was funny.
Wow. Well, yeah, that's the kind of thing that you remember. Hey, let's go hear some more of your music.
Okay. Something I wrote is called Sacha from the same album.
Is it on YouTube or?
Yeah. If you put Sacha Boutros Sacha, it'll come up. And that was fun to make. We made it in New York with John DiMartino and Terrell Stafford and Peter Washington and Lewis Nash.
Gee, you couldn't get anyone back good, as they say.
So it'll come up like one of those. Oh, maybe you have to put Sacha Boutros New York after. Oh, there. Yeah, click on. It's right there. See? Yeah.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Top tracks?
Yeah, it'll come up. I think it comes up.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Vámonos, mi amigos, yo te quiero. Vamos a bailar y gozar. Esta canción de amistad te la dedico para que sepas mi amor. Hay que disfrutar en la vida, solo hay una, hay que tener fe en Dios. Esta canción de amistad te la dedico para que sepas mi amor. Yo nací en una familia bonita con abuelitos creados por las manos de Dios y una mamá tan bonita, bonita, tan bonita que me pongo a cantar. Y así se baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Sacha, cha, cha, cha. Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Sacha, cha, cha, cha. Así se baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Sacha, cha, cha, cha. Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Sacha, cha, cha, cha. Yo nací en una familia bonita con abuelitos creados por las manos de Dios y una mamá tan bonita, bonita, tan bonita que me pongo a cantar. Y así se baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Sacha, cha, cha, cha. Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Sacha, cha, cha, cha. Y así se baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Sacha, cha, cha, cha. Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Sacha, cha, cha, cha. Baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha.
Cha, 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 por aquí, cha, 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 por allá. Yo te invito a que bailes mi rico cha, cha, cha.
Y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha.
Contigo Jorge y tío Alfredo y Almita, yo a ti te quiero.
Y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha.
Yo le inspiro así a mi abuelo Chucho, ay, ese caballero que yo quiero mucho.
Y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha.
Lupita, mi abuelita, mi mamita Irma, qué bonitas.
Y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha.
Guadalajara, Guadalajara, Toño y Jando son hermanos y saludo a los saboyanos.
Baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha.
Achica la cuncula, y achica la cuncuncha, baila conmigo mi rico Sacha, cha, cha, cha.
Y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha.
Ya con esta me despido, yo no quiero así cansar, a toda mi familia yo le quiero tributar.
Y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha, 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 cha. Y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, y baila la Sacha, cha.
Sacha, cha.
Wow. Boy, that sounds great.
Thanks. That was fun.
Man, who did that arrangement?
John DiMartino and myself.
Wonderful. Is that so what's your heritage?
I'm Mexican and Lebanese, French Lebanese.
Okay. Okay. So and were those two were those two heritages very present in your household? I mean, is that how you did you soak in that music and the culture and?
Yes, the Mexican, I think more than the Arabic culture, but the
Yeah.
Arabic, I mean, that was totally present, especially like when my grandmother would come from Paris, and then there would be like hordes of people like in the house and Arabic parties and people dressed up to the nines and I would freak out because they would come with these furs with animals on them and I'd be like, you know, as a little kid. And then they'd be dancing and the little animals would be moving. That's how I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you know you were going to be a singer?
I think I was like 19 or 18. It was by accident, kind of. I mean, I always sang in church.
Yeah.
But never thought about it at all. Never occurred to me. And I think I was like, actually I was probably 20. I was on the soccer field. I was a semi-pro soccer player. So I played college sports, tennis and soccer. And I thought I was going to be like a soccer star.
Oh.
And I got my knee blown out by some guy that was like on the Peruvian national team that, you know, was playing a pickup with all these ex-players, all guys. And he got mad that I kept plowing by him. And he did a dirty move and he took my knee out.
Wow.
And I couldn't walk for a little while and it was bad. I was out for a couple months. And music kept showing up and music kept showing up. And I played the piano, so I was always playing classical music, but music was something different. It was like in church, and then it was practicing and playing classical music for myself. And then all of a sudden, it just showed up like in a different way. And I just walked through the door. I figured it kept showing up. I might as well see what happens. So I did. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. By the way, my friend Joyce Glasgow she said she's heard you on a couple of live streams from Paris in an amazing French venue with opulent chandeliers, high ceilings, Baroque features. And then Christina said, Circle Suedo.
Oh yeah. Hi Joyce. That's called the Le Cercle Suédois. It's the Swedish Circle. It's a private club on the Rue de Rivoli, and I'm a member there. So the Camilla, who's the lady that runs the club, she's a really neat Swedish lady, good friend of mine. She lets us do the live streams from there. It's really neat. It's actually Alfred Nobel's house. And he has his desk inside and all the Nobel stuff, memorabilia from him. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
Boy.
I'll take you there when you come to Paris.
Okay. Is it, and maybe the next music thing, can we see it on YouTube or? I don't think so. Or can you? Because it's live streamed.
They might do some live streams right now coming up. I'm not sure. There's only a couple of people they let live stream in there.
I see.
But sometimes they do put the events live on, but it's private clubs, so they don't always. Right. You know, Paris likes their anonymity when they're private clubs.
So, did you say you spent time in New York, or just passing through, kind of, or did you live there, or?
So I wanted to live there, so I went there as often as possible, and I would spend as much time as I could, maybe 40% of a year there, 30 to 40 for a couple of years, few years, because it was always so expensive. I was so afraid to just make the move.
Yeah.
And I never did. So I went back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
Performed a lot there.
Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the people you have on that record are fabulous.
Yeah, and they usually perform with me there, except I think Peter only once. Mostly I work with Boris Kozlov. Boris.
Boris.
Boris. I love Boris.
That's cool. And they obviously let you sit in at the jam sessions there.
Boris is funny though. When we go on tour, he goes, "I will relax. Don't talk to me." He puts his hoodie on in the back of the van, and he puts his earphones on, and he just kind of, and I go like this on purpose. "Hey Boris, what?" Just to hear him talk like that. Great guy.
Yeah. You must have fun on your gigs.
Yeah. When the people are nice that you work with, it's such a joy. I'm sure you know this for sure. Joy perform. You're sharing your heart with them. You're sharing your love with them. And when they share it back, I think the best music is born in those moments, because no one is looking for self-gratification of any kind. It's just everyone is sharing together on that stage to create a unity, to give, which creates community out in your audience. And that is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Serving the music.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My first husband was he was about 11 years older than me, and so he was a guide for me for a long time. And I remember sweating over putting the band together and not fully knowing what each player could do. And he said don't put them together because of how they play, put them together because of how their personalities are. And for a big part of it, he was right.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people don't mesh with others.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were born in San Diego, right?
Yes. Where were you born?
I was born in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. So I came out to California when I was 21. And I went to San Francisco first, and then came down to LA, and I was going to go to New York, and I met my first husband. So here I am. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure it's been an easier life here than if I had gone to New York,
I think we're spoiled here.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's easier, right?
It's much easier. After living over there for a couple of years in Europe, it's so much easier.
In Europe or here?
Here. I mean, I even took going to Target for granted. I mean, Target's open at like 11 o'clock. You get off your gig and you need detergent before 12 o'clock and you can go get it. I mean, something so stupid like that, easy. You can go to one store for everything. So easy. If you have to do errands in the USA, you take 2 hours to go to like 4 stores maybe, and do a couple of things, and you've got a car. In France, it might take you 4 days to go do those errands.
But it's fun. Maybe
not.
Hey, so you mentioned, like desiring to have the old Paris, so is there an old kind of feeling of Paris, or is it like very modern?
I think that feeling is created in the artistic endeavors of those trying to build community. So it exists a little bit in Montmartre. I think it exists a little in Montparnasse, but that old Paris is really gone. It's really different. And my dad was right when he sat me down, because he used to live there in his when he was a late teenager, and he said it's not the same Paris anymore. And when you ask the Parisians, it's not the same Paris as 10 years ago. So 20 years ago, the Paris of my childhood, me going there, it's really not that Paris. And it's so different, and there's so many people there from all the different cultures, but yet they don't integrate into the culture, which I find so strange that they're not integrating. And you go into certain areas and it's like you're in another country.
Yeah.
And they don't integrate. I don't really understand that, because for me, when you go to a country, you must acculturate into what's going on there. So
right.
There's areas of Paris I won't go. Once I actually kind of wandered into an Arab neighborhood, and I had a sleeveless shirt on, and I was not being looked at very properly, and I really felt in danger. And I was trying to make my navigation work. I was on foot, and I turned wrong on my little phone navigation, and I just remember running to try to get out of there because it felt unsafe. It didn't feel like Paris. That didn't feel like Paris.
Oh.
And so I think that old Paris is gone.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. And it exists sometimes in pockets of like cultural events.
Yeah.
There's artists and thinkers and people bringing that kind of beauty to the world. And that's why I say it's a little bit left in Montmartre, because there's still that, like, you walk to the store to buy your oranges in one place and your cheese in another place, and there are all the little shops, and and the church is right there, and the artists are all out on the streets singing and dancing and playing, and there's crazy writers walking around, and there's characters everywhere, and that feels like old Paris.
Yeah.
But like in pockets.
Yeah. It's really interesting what life is becoming. But I especially right now, it's never so much more apparent than art is what's saving our ass, all kinds of art and artists from all over the world. And that's the real beauty of the internet and what's going on now, because people are interested. They're on the internet looking around, like, oh, here's an Armenian singer who's, really great, or a Korean singer, or, so you really reach out of the norm and make friends and collaborate. And, it might be the only thing that saves us in the end, I don't know.
I think so. And I think it's sad that, all these clubs are closing and everything like that, but it's giving people the access to come on and like connect. Like you have this wonderful program where you bring everybody together. So everyone that's watching, Roland and Christina and Joyce and all these other friends from all over the world are getting to know all of these different people through what you're doing, which is really beautiful. Thank you.
Sure.
And so then somebody will then start following one of the people on your show, or somebody else doing a jazz thing over here, an art thing over there, and I think that's all there is right now, because we're here. Actually, we're really right here.
We are. Well, I'm here, you're there. But we are here together. Let's see. I'm just keeping an eye. I like to usually do every half hour I do some music, which is cool. So let's get a look. And you can feel free to talk about anything you want to, but it's a casual conversation. Okay. Now, should I?
So I released a new single, but I don't think it came out yet. I've been waiting. I released two, one in French and one in English, and it's my first pop single.
Oh.
I'm a traitor to jazz. I'm a traitor to jazz.
Is it here or somewhere else?
I could send it to you.
Okay. Would you like to
play it? I mean, do you want to hear a pop song? I mean, it's kind of got some cool
sure
in it. Okay. How do I do that? Let's see.
And also, I want to go on YouTube and watch you live, because I think, I saw a lot of you live.
Oh, well, you could do that. I think somebody posted a video when I was live at the Duke de Lombards, and you would have to fast forward a little bit to "I'm a Fool to Want You." But if you put Sacha Boutros, I think it comes up. That would be more interesting. So see, Devil May Care, I'm a Fool to Want You, but you'll have to just fast forward.
Okay.
Some guy posted this. I did this Women in Jazz thing.
Mm-hmm.
Janet Siegel invited a few other people. We sold
out.
Is that you? Yeah. So I think you got to go a little further, like 5 or 6 minutes in. And I tell the whole story of Sinatra, but in French. Yeah.
Oh, I think I did see that. Or
you got to keep going, because it's
more.
Yeah, they took a lot of solos. Yeah, keep going, because it's just me and Frank playing, I think.
Oh, okay.
Frankenstein. Yeah, okay. It's around there. It's a little bit before, maybe. Or maybe I'm talking there.
It looks like you're talking.
Yeah, I tell the story of Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner, and how this is the song that he sang to her.
This might be it.
I think that's his solo.
Okay.
And that was funny, because that's the night Janice.
Sorry?
That's the night Janice was singing, and we split sets, and then we sang together, and we came out of the dressing room with the same jacket on. We didn't plan it.
Oh my God.
I think this might be the middle.
Is this okay?
That's the middle of the song. Yeah.
But
it might be too long, so.
Oh, it's on. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's Frank, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, here we go.
That's the middle. So, yeah, that's fine though, I'm sure. It's about a minute.
Time and time again I said I'd leave you. And time again. Oh, how I went. Then would come the night when I need you. And once again, these words my soul would say. Take me back, I love you. Pity me, I need you. I know it's wrong, I know it's wrong, but right or wrong, I can't
Yeah. And I was also going to look for something a little swinging too.
Oh, I don't know. You know, I never let people put videos up of me, and I rarely put anything up. Most of those are from like other people because I've always been a little overweight in the last 10 years because I have a thyroid problem. And since I'm independent, people have always been really mean about it.
Oh.
Now I regret that because I wish who cares? I would rather have everything up. You
Yeah.
know?
What about this? Is this a fun one, Janice and you?
I don't remember.
It's probably a fun one. I'm going to guess.
Sing you a very nice song in French.
Well, she is.
Yeah.
It is.
And then he got like all famous all over
Is
the
the
planet,
same-
you know.
the same
Yeah, because it was a big
Night?
Isn't that funny of the jackets?
Yeah.
I was so
in
nervous
America
singing
with
the
this in English.
You were nervous? Why?
I don't know. Because
Oh.
she's genius. Because she's fabulous.
Let our hearts call it a day.
C'est une chanson d'automne
But before you go away,
dans la maison qui frissonne.
I sincerely want to say,
Et je pense au jour.
I wish you bluebirds in the spring to give your heart a song to sing. I wish you health, but more than wealth, I wish you love. And in July, a lemonade to cool you in some leafy glade. And then a kiss, but more than this, I wish you love. My aching heart and I agree that you and I could never ever be. So with my best, my very best, I set you free. I gave you shelter from the storm, a cozy fire to keep you warm. But most of all, when snowflakes fall, I wish you love. Je vous entends baisser vos lèvres à faire mouvement. Karrin Institute, my best, my very best. I set you free. And I wish you shelter from the storm. A cozy fire, cozy fire, keep me warm. And most of all, when snowflakes fall, I wish you love.
That's really fun. She's really good at singing with people, huh? You sound great.
Thanks.
Really, really nice. Yeah, that must have been really fun.
That was fun.
She probably had fun. Oh, Poor Butterfly is really up and swinging. Okay, we'll listen to that next.
It is? What is that? Before you put it on. You know what I do have is that we just went on a TV show the day before I left, and it's swinging. And that's nice. With Frank and with Giraud. Giraud is the guy that runs the late night jams at the Duke. That's also up.
Now, and is that, sometimes like I have to watch what I play because Facebook and YouTube, if it's licensed by some other company, and even if it's licensed by the artists themselves, I had this happen the other day, they'll take it down. So, yeah, who was I? I was on here with, I let Rose Gottlieb. We played her record. It was her record. And because she had the licensing thing connected to YouTube actually took down the whole video. It was really like, yeah,
Well,
but
there's that's licensed because they pay for it out of France. So he has it up legally, like whatever. They won't take that down. But we did that.
no, it's not him who it's
Well, there's a clip of Johnny O'Neill and me at the jam session. That's cool.
okay.
That's swinging.
Well, we'll do that next. Right now, let's talk more. So here's a question I've been asking people, like that one question you ask everybody. What do you think success is?
Success? I think success is being inwardly, I'm on a spiritual path, so it's really being fulfilled on the inside and creating happiness and joy here and being happy here, wherever you are, doesn't matter on the planet, and really living an authentic life and being the best you can be. I think for me, that's success. That would be getting there, or somewhat getting there, because it seems like the path never ends. But I think that for me would be the ideal of success. Nothing really outward, more inward. The rest is like the ornaments, on the Christmas tree.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great answer. You mentioned you had a near-death experience, and what happened to you?
I had an anaphylactic shock. Somebody in San Francisco, a friend, opened up a really nice old bottle of the Chateau Margaux, something beautiful, and I decided to take a little sip. We were letting it decanter. I took a sip, and I took the cork, which was somewhat old, and it was dark and it was beautiful. So I smelled it, and my throat closed, and apparently I had anaphylactic shock to the mold on the cork.
Oh,
Yeah, and they thought I was having an asthma attack because I have severe asthma. So it
Wow.
was an interesting experience.
yeah, I can imagine. So basically, you came like right next to death. Kind of
Yeah,
looked in the door there.
I was standing on the other side of the room staring at myself and
Oh my gosh.
watching what was happening. And it was surreal. I'd been out of my body in a meditation, but not on purpose. I mean, I don't really want to get out. What if I don't get back in? I want to get out. So I mean, it felt amazing because it was no pain anywhere. It was like no pain. Like, could you imagine? No weight, no pain.
Yeah.
Like this feeling of unconditional love and just like somebody was lifting you up, you know, oh, like a mother's love or something. I don't know. It was wonderful. Who wouldn't want to stay there?
Well, there's a woman I listen to occasionally, Anita Morjan, I think her name is. She's Indian, and she was she was there. She was basically dead, and she realized that she could choose to come back or not. And she had stage 4 cancer and this and that. And whomever on the other side told her, well, you can go back and heal yourself. So she did. She came back and she healed herself.
That's
And
beautiful.
within a week, she had no cancer.
Oh wow, that was a gift. Somebody helped her.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody, so she was helped.
So did you have a decision to come back?
Yeah, I was told it's your choice, and what I attribute is the voice of God or the universe, or I think it was more God because it was a vibration that was very calm and loving, and it was basically you have a choice. I've given you this choice, and the choice is yours. So you can go or you can stay. And there were consequences for both actions. Of course, I asked, well, what is the consequence of staying and going? And there was a message, and then I went. I chose to go back. It seemed the harder thing actually. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, they told me I'd have to repeat everything again and learn all the lessons over, and that they would be much harder. I thought about my whole singing career and all the lessons I'd learned in that and how awful that was, and I didn't want to repeat that.
Did you find later on that you did repeat all lessons or not?
I think we're constantly repeating lessons. If you don't get the lesson repeats itself until you learn what's right and what's wrong and how to maneuver around what that particular lesson for yourself is. It will come back and you will be tested.
Right.
Just comes back in another face, a different person, a different situation. It's the
Yeah.
same scenario over and over again until you can move on and really be strong and learn from that experience.
Yes. I agree. I've done a lot of that through my life. I used to notice that like starting from college maybe or earlier for years and years until I just realized what it was. That like let's say you were my dear friend, right? And then I moved away from you and I met somebody who was so much like you, except a little better version because you and I had some kind of a falling out. So it was a little better version, but it was still so much like you. And same buttons. I had the same buttons, right? But one piece of those buttons had gone away because I had handled it. But it was, like you said, it was the same lesson. It was made up of a few different things, and that would continue happening. So I would always create somebody similar, for maybe 4 or 5 times until I went, oh, I think a lot of people do that with relationships, right? And I definitely did that with relationships. Oh God, I always date this kind of a guy who, until you hit your head on the wall enough, and it's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. And I am still learning. It's really us that actually is doing the changing and the transforming. We don't depend on, I don't at least depend on another person to do that or solve the problem or put the blame on anyone else. It's me that has to figure out what's going on and what's happening and why it's happening, and change myself because the other person is who they are.
Yeah.
They are. And when I change, everything else changes around me when we change. And that really makes the difference in the learning. And sometimes there's also that point where you ask yourself, does this serve me at all?
Right.
because some things are not as elevated, and they're hard to walk away from when you have wants and desires and things.
Yes.
It's hard to take the high road sometimes, and then sometimes it's not hard to take the high road because it's so easy. It becomes so easy to do it. But then when it presents itself in a way where it's like, wow, that's exactly what I want, how do I say no? Because it isn't actually what it looks like, you know. That's when the lesson gets a little bit like, once you're good at it, it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I think, well, I don't know how long ago I thought about this, you know, many years ago, at least 25 years ago, maybe more. But I finally realized, oh, if I can confront something, and I don't mean confront like her, I just mean look at it, confront it, and take full responsibility for it, I can handle anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's been one of my personal policies, in life, and therefore I really don't stay in bad situations either in my head or in, here, because I don't want to hang around and feel bad, I want to move on.
Who wants to hang around and feel bad? But you're seeking truth.
There are people who do.
Wisdom, what is it, that song, eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth? When you're living like that on that path, it's so much easier, to live in that truth and never have a gray area with someone or bad feelings, or if we're friends and something's up and I come to you and talk to you, you're the kind of lady that would say, yeah, let's talk about it, let's figure this out, let's communicate. And
Yeah.
It's great like that, because then there's no, that you're going to have little hiccups in life, but when you live around people like that, it's so much easier.
It is so much easier. And in fact, I was just talking with my friend yesterday about this, about flowing love or flowing affinity to somebody. And because that feeling, that emotion dissolves anything bad. And it's something you have to practice. It's not something you're automatically, you got, oh yeah, I got this one. This guy's a real idiot to me and I can flow him love and affinity. Yeah, no, it's it's a challenge to do that. But affinity, I tried an experiment once on the road. So, with a real idiot driver, right? And I thought, well, I'm going to flow him affinity, but I'm not going to pretend he's something he's not. So I thought, wow, you are so good at being an asshole. You're so good at that. It's impressive.
You did that to him?
I did it in my own space. We were driving on the road, but you know what? All the vibe on the whole thing, me, him, the drivers, everything cooled right down immediately. So I think everybody wants to be acknowledged, right? And I've read that all our actions come from either one of either of two places, either fear or love. So, obviously people who are idiots, they're coming from fear. They're not coming from love. It's just not
Absolutely.
what they're doing.
I agree.
So, yeah. I really like this area of life and thinking and talking and reading. So obviously you do too. And
Very much.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're on a journey of beauty.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
are.
Sure. Before you had this near-death experience, did you feel like this as well?
I was on a spiritual path, but I kept getting off of it. I kept taking like little branches and like a tree, like going on the side, coming back. It was very slow. I was still moving forward, but super slow.
Yeah.
I still think I'm moving very slowly, but I read a lot, yes, and I studied a lot, but more so after the fact, because I think I started really meditating a lot more and praying a lot more. And one thing that changed is that I became a lot more humble, which I'm still seeking more humility. And also the gratitude that I had for just breathing and being present was immense. And that I really was very thankful for that, because there was something that I just kept plowing through life, trying to get to the next gig, trying to get more gigs, trying to get this, trying to get that, which I still do, but in a different way. It's not like I'm holding on to it like that as much. I have more gratitude when I wake up, and grateful that there's a day, that there's so many things. And one thing that changed, I always lived in service to others, volunteering since I was little, doing lots of charity work, but I really understood what the service was about. And so that changed a little bit, because it was a lot more quiet than it was before, and a lot more of it. And realizing that our purpose as artists is really actually to serve. We're given these beautiful gifts, and it's not, the gift isn't for us to like just keep and hoard and share, like I'm singing for me, I'm playing for me, I'm happy, whatever. It's how can I use this beautiful gift to share with others, to make joy in the world, to create community, to be to give that abundant flow of love that you're talking about to others, which isn't always coming from us. Sometimes we're just a little channel, and as we get our ego out of the way, those channels just open, and people feel that flow, and they leave a show or a place where you're talking like this, or and they feel that. And you can do that on great levels and small levels, but if you just move out of the way, it happens. And that's the thing, the thing that I really understood fully is that gratitude, and having that on stage, and having that, and getting out of my way, because great things can happen when you just let the love flow through you and out. And if that happens with other people on stage, that's pretty cool, because that way you said that you changed the ride in the car, well, you do that on stage, I'm sure. So people will receive that, feel that, and even an impassive heart will feel a sentiment of warmth, that they may have not felt before. Somebody had a terrible day, and you made them forget for that little bit of time, and feel loved. Because I think, like you said, everyone wants to be acknowledged and feel loved. And as that artist, if we can give that with that gift that we're given, we just keep giving. That for me was what changed the most.
Yeah.
Really understanding that.
Mm-hmm. One thing that's always fascinated me is the better the artist does that, as far as a real experience, the artist is on stage, they're familiar enough with how that process works, and they've achieved getting there, so from the first moment they are in that magic space, doing, allowing the flow through them. And just by observing that alone, the audience, they don't even have to know how to name it, but when they observe that, well, of course there's different levels, but this particular thing fascinates me. When they observe you doing that action, there's something in them that says you can do that action too.
Yeah.
And that, and it doesn't have to be in words or anything. They don't have to realize it, but it actually, just watching, they get it. And that's why I think, and I think that's part of the responsibility of artists, to get good at this action of allowing the channel to be open and something to flow through, and for various reasons that what I just discussed being one, to give the general public who's observing the experience of, I call it God, the God experience. And, and because that's what we need. We need that humankind. We need to have those experiences and to understand that we are actually competent enough to do it ourselves. But I might not know how, because maybe I've never done art, or I've never done anything in my life that has that result and that action, of feeling the God energy move through me. So I don't even know how to do that, but if I see you and I experience these different things, or maybe you say a line that just totally, connects with me. I mean, that's where our responsibility lies.
I agree. And I'm a woman of faith, and I'm trying to deeper build on that, because that's love. For me, God is love. So we're singing love. We're transmitting love. And that's the one thing that it's a little bit hard in the broadcast when you're the energy, because we create energy and people can feel a little, but they can't really feel when you're working on energy with others. You can't, that's the one thing I can't figure out how to transmit. It doesn't really work with computers, but yeah, it's doing that, and it's in that high vibration is hitting the other person and making them feel loved. They're not alone.
Right, not alone. That's a big one.
That's what they get, really. But
Yeah.
it's not us. It's not really us. We're the little,
Right.
for me, we're the little channels, the conduits of that, like when you sang that song, Diane, I always remember that because I felt the beauty and an innocence come through you that was it was moving. And I said, well, I wonder who that song was about. And you just told me the story, and it was this childlike love that sounded coming through this pristine beauty, through the song. That's what I felt 15 years ago that I can still remember now. And then you tell me the story. Well, it was about this little girl, and all these, how little girls are so open and loving. And you see, that's what I felt. I didn't know it was about a little girl, but that came through.
Yeah.
So people feel that, and they'll keep that with them, a lifetime. And if we continue to keep doing that, well, maybe somebody needed that. Somebody in the audience really needed that. They needed to know they weren't alone.
Yeah. Yeah. We're creating quite a lineage of comments here. I'm going to look at them.
Move out of my way, Christina said. This is
well, what record did you wear out? This was a question that I used to ask, some of my people. What record growing up did you listen to, either in your youth or when you were, in your teens or 20s?
There were like a few records I wore out. I wore out Sergio Mendes in Brazil 66. I wore out Julio Iglesias, Momentos, because there was this one song I loved, Momentos, that Andrea Bocelli ended up covering years later, like 30 years later.
Oh, yeah.
And I wore out Swinging Songs for Young Lovers, Sinatra.
Yep.
And there was another Sinatra that's around the same time that I also wore out. I wore out the Sinatra. I just wore it out.
Come Fly With Me was in my home.
Yeah.
Come fly with me, come fly. Yeah. What did I wear out?
Yeah.
Well, when I was really young, I probably wore out like an Ella record, because my dad was a sax player and my two sisters sang. They were twins and one played piano. And but Ella, we used to listen, my dad listened to Stan Kenton, that kind of stuff, and also Ella and Rosemary Clooney and Judy Garland and the Four Freshmen and the High-Lows, all that kind of stuff. But when I grew older,
records.
Sorry?
I have tons of Stan Kenton 78s.
Oh, wow. Well, when I was older, I started listening to the more modern jazz, like Weather Report. I probably wore out one of those. And then also when I was in college, that was really a happening music time. And I was in Boston, which was a great place to be, around music. And I also went to Berkeley. So, but Motown was huge, and, Woodstock, all those people were huge. Marvin Gaye, I definitely wore out a Marvin Gaye, and Aretha. And Aretha, I definitely wore out Aretha. And I wore out Miles' 7 Steps to Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wore out the CD Kind of Blue. Oh, so Joyce is asking, what about
Joni Mitchell. Yeah, for
I'm
me,
on a
definitely.
lonely road and I am traveling.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah,
It feels great.
definitely Joni. I mean, but she was part of the, even though she wasn't there, she was definitely part of the Woodstock crowd, right?
Yeah.
Um,
They're on another record. It was a Benny Goodman. It was a funny one. It was a I got a gal in Kalamazoo. I even had the jazz singer from 1929 on a 78. I loved 78. I'd have my grandma take me to the thrift store to buy them.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love 1920s music. Ridiculously fun.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had 78s for a while here. My husband collects records, and there was a man who was quite a character. He owned the two Michellis, that was his last name, in LA, which was both in Studio City, and or actually one was in Hollywood, but not too far away. And he was quite a character, and his home was like an Italian villa. Interesting home. And anyway, Sarah Vaughan used to come over and fall asleep in his chair, you know, and his wife would come out and go, "Is she leaving?" And he'd say no.
Down the bottle of cognac.
Anyway, he had a crap load of 78s. And so we went over and we bought a bunch of them. And yeah, 78s, I don't know, there's something about 78s that are alluring, isn't it?
And putting them on, they're heavy, pulling them out, the sound of picking them out of the big paper, and
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah, they are. They're really fun.
Records take up so much space, though.
Well, tell me about it. We have how many thousands? Is it 10, I don't know, around 10,000 inside. And then he also has collects 45s. So we have about 5,000 of those.
Yikes.
But we have some good furniture to keep them in.
That's good.
Yeah.
Roland says 78s, LOL. Roland, what does LMHO mean?
Let me IMHO.
Is that I think it's LMHO. What does that mean, Roland?
I think it's but I don't know. Mondavid is a friend of ours. He's a really great singer. He's Filipino, and he's a very strong jazz singer, kind of along the lines of Mark Murphy. And
wow, I loved Mark Murphy.
Yeah, me too. And he's really good.
Mark Murphy gave me chocolate. I always laugh about that with all his rings, and he goes, "Sweetheart, do you want a chocolate?" And he gave me chocolate. He was giving me chocolates, but he wasn't giving me chocolates. It was in Hampton Callaway, Karrin Allyson, and I went to watch him at Dizzy's.
Uh-huh.
And he came over when we were done, and he sat down with us, and he brought chocolate. It's a funny thing.
Well, I've had him here twice doing workshops because for about 20 years I hosted workshops, and I've had hundreds of people through, especially in the early days. We sometimes we'd have like 2 workshops on a weekend, and every weekend. My husband was very tolerant, and
I wish I knew that. I would have come to that.
Well, and Gretchen was one of those workshops. Anyway, but Mark came twice, and I just loved Mark. He was the real deal. He was so cool. He was so warm and friendly, kind of like Sheila Jordan. People who've been around, Jay Clayton, people who've been around, and they recognize you, and they know, like the stuff we were talking about. They know. They just know what it's about.
Yeah, well, the sharing, and then I find like when you get to that level, there's a certain level where they're kind of you graduate to, and then you're there, and there isn't jealousy and oh look at her, or, oh look at him. There isn't any of that. It's
No.
You're just all working together because you all know that you're on the same team, and that, for example, was really hard starting again, is having to move through those layers, and a lesson in itself of patience and understanding and just not getting angry, because it's like, we're all on the same team, guys. When are you going to figure that out? We're all doing the same thing. We're all in service to others.
Yeah. See, I always felt that too. And that's why, you know, people had been impressed with me over my career because I seemed to create singer groups and events. Because I mean, when I was in my 20s here, we were all working our asses off and we were all sharing the gigs, you know, and if I couldn't do a gig, I'd call you.
Yeah.
And you'd go do the gig and you did the best job you could and you didn't steal it from me or, you know, steal or,
Yeah.
you know, and that's how we built a community. We were, you know,
That's
we were-
great.
yeah, we were working together.
There's actually a girl watching us right now, Allison Adam Tucker. Her and I are like that. She can't do
Yeah.
something. She calls me, I
Allison.
can't do something. And I call her because we figure, for me, but it took me a long time to understand that. I think when I first started, the first 5-6 years, I was an ego trip, walking around like super entitled. So that was a really hard lesson. And I think once I understood the lesson, I felt really stupid. And I went around saying, I'm sorry to everybody. I just felt like, you know, like in Alcoholics Anonymous, where they I understand that people go around and say sorry to you, because I've had some people come to me that were on that program and say, I'm so sorry, you know, I'm sober now and whatever. I actually thought about that and I went around and I just said sorry to everybody I ever worked with. I'm sorry if I was a head case. I'm sorry if I hurt you in any way. I'm really sorry, because once I really got what the whole thing was about, I felt so stupid. I look back going, what the fuck? I can't believe I was like that.
That's so cool. That's really cool. I've also actually, there was a musician who was on a gig with me and he was a real idiot. And I was the singer and he had just come in and he hadn't done the gig before. So I was trying to help him. And he was kind of famous, you know, and he just was a total idiot. And I went away from the gig thinking he's a total idiot. You know, I'd never hire him. I don't want to go see him play, you know. And probably about a year or two later, he contacted me and he apologized.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was great. And it made a huge difference. It was just it was great. I mean, why not?
Yeah. But I think it makes a difference to the person that you hurt, or some people said, well, you didn't do anything to me. But some people said, well, you know what? You were a head case. And I really appreciate that, because what people know of you is that, you know,
Yeah.
like with that guy, that's the only thing you know about him. That's your impression of him.
Yeah.
That's what you'll always think about him.
Yeah.
So if he has done the inner work and has changed, the fact that he's come and said, hey, I'm sorry about that, well, you might end up working with him again and he might be a completely different person, because people do change.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Sorry, you met the old me. This is the new me. I hope that we can experience you together now.
Well,
Kind
it's
of
really
super
nice.
creepy, but
It's
Yeah.
great, you know. I wish that would happen with a few other people, you know. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I know, like, if I have disagreements with people and I really try and take responsibility and they don't, then it really can't work. So, you know, I really try not to hold grudges, but also if they're not taking responsibility, there's nothing I can do. So
no,
I'm kind of stuck with my impression of them and until they
That's
might do something
that's
different.
okay though. You can kind of just disassociate with love, like you said.
Right. And which I do. Yeah, I do. I have affinity for these people. And also we had a great time, you know, like before that happened, before those disagreements happened, we had a really great time. And I can have affinity for that too. You know, it was a moment in time, you know.
Yeah.
We have a few more things. Oh, so laughing my head off is what that was.
Oh, okay. Laughing my head off. Laughing my head off over you.
So Joyce wants to know, do you like Betty Carter or Abby Lincoln?
I like both of them. Oh, and Auntie Sharon just joined. Hi, Sharon.
Um,
So do I have to find a song for you? Is there another song coming up?
Yes.
Am I allowed to run to the ladies' room really quick when that's playing?
Well, while it's playing, perfect. And I will too, actually. So let's find the song. And
Boy, I really wish I had some music videos or something. Oh, that would be good.
This one?
Yeah, that's new. I will wait for you.
Oh, good. Okay.
And you just have to fast forward to probably 2 minutes, 6 minutes in or something. There's an interview before.
Okay. I'm wondering, I'm just looking at my chat window. I was trying to open chat for YouTube as well, but oh, cool. I am currently watching on YouTube. Great. And he made a comment. Yay, it works. Okay. So, did you say 2 minutes in?
I think more like 6. Keep going and I'll tell you. Let's see. Oh wait, a little bit. Yeah, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Maybe you can see it a little better if I do this.
Yeah. I can't hear it.
No. Did you want me to turn it there?
No, back. Back. Okay, wait, no, back. Can't tell because they did all these cuts.
Hi, Frank.
No, I think you got to go back a little bit. No, okay, wait, stop. I think it's right when that ends, so it's like around 4 something.
Okay.
Française, avec un nouveau spin dans le jazz aussi pour
Done in like a second, yeah.
ne quitter tout ce que la génération avant a fait, comme Michel Legrand. Continuer
I was so
cette
nervous.
génération pour les gens qui sont plus...
You were nervous?
D'accord. Ben, j'espère que
Yeah, I don't know why I was nervous. I was going through a bunch of stuff at
En
that
tout cas,
time.
maintenant, les amis, nous
And,
allons écouter Sacha Boutros.
okay, it's coming up right now.
C'est
It's like
vraiment
20
magnifique. Sacha Boutros en live en acoustique avec Cédric.
Well, I lost a bunch of weight since then, too.
The clock will
Okay.
tick away the hours one by one, and then will come the time when all the waiting's done, the time when you return and find me here and run straight to my waking arms. La 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 la. Ya, da, 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 ya, 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 ya. Mona. Ne me quitte pas. If it takes forever, I will wait for you for 1,000 summers. I will wait for you till you're back beside me, till I'm touching you. Mon amour, ne me quitte pas. Anywhere you wander, anywhere you go, every day remember that I love you so. In my heart, believe what in my heart I know, that forevermore I'll wait for you. The clock will tick away the hours one by one, and then the time will come when all the waiting's done, the time when you return and find me here and run straight to my waking arms. till you're back beside me, till I'm touching you. Mon amour, ne me quitte pas, pas, pas. Fa bu ba be be yo do 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 ba yo de yo de oh. Should do be be do 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 do.
Pitchy. Oh my God, it was so real. The whole thing was pitchy. You know, I had to take like my inhaler like so many times the 2 days leading to that. I was like, I wasn't sure if the vocals were going to come out.
I totally understand. I have a chronic cough for the last 20 years, and people who know me know this problem that I have. And I've definitely experienced a lot of singing discomfort with that, you know. And my present teacher is really good, has brought me back, because about 2 years ago, I was thinking of stopping singing because my singing was so badly affected. Yeah. So
I think that's the time you have to try the hardest.
yeah. Well,
Which doesn't make sense because it's uncomfortable.
yeah. if it wasn't for my friend Dan and his support, I might have, if he wasn't in my life, I might have just thought about stopping. I mean, like really done that. But he has so much support for me that it made me just go, I got to get this together, and I got to find, and then how teachers show up, and, your teacher, and I have a great teacher. So.
Hey, if you ever feel like that, call me, because I know what it feels like to not, be able to. I sometimes have coughing fits on the stage from the asthma, from my lungs doing like this kind of shaking thing. And sometimes it's just like, it's overwhelming, because it's like, how do you do your job when your body's not working?
I know.
It's awful. So
I have, I don't know if this would work for asthma, but I have these lozenges that I found in England years back called Vocal Zone. And these actually stop my coughing in the moment, which is amazing. They don't cure my cough, but they stop it. So again, when people watch me on, and know me, they see me doing this. So, but I don't know if it would work for asthma.
Well, what happens is I wonder if you're coughing because you have a lot of, this is a strange conversation we're having now on this thing. We could talk about it after if you want, but the mucus lining on your chest sometimes is what's causing the cough, or is yours dryness?
It's not dry. It's not what they call a productive cough, but I think it's productive. But, it's definitely somewhat related to food. But then out of the blue, it can just start right up. And excuse me?
It really could be like an asthma-induced allergy to food.
Well, yes. And people have treated me for asthma. People have treated me for GERD. I've also gone to the, spiritual kind of treatment too. I've tried a lot of different things. And actually right now I have this thing called the Healy, which is working on my cell energy basically. And I also have tried, perspectives, points of view. And, this area is related to communication, and this area is related to loss. So, but those things I don't really have a lot of trouble with in this lifetime. So there have been people who have said, well, it's probably from another lifetime. Well, finding that is a little kind of like looking for the needle in the haystack. You might come across it, but you might not. So I work on it all the time, reading and
he believes in past lives.
Oh yeah. I think, how do you not? But I know people don't think like that. But
I think, how do you not too? But a lot of people don't think like that.
Yeah.
So when you like kind of almost die and you tell people there's a lot more going on than you think, and they're like, no, there's not. We die and that's it. And you know that you've seen otherwise.
Yeah.
They tell you, well, like in psychology, they say, and in medical books, that your oxygen gets cut off. So you're hallucinating when you're dying.
I love those kinds of explanations. They'd rather believe that. Why? Why would you rather believe that?
No, why not just leave the possibility open in general? The possibility that something is possible. When there's a space, there's something possible there. There's not nothing there. It's a space for something to come into.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Tokely, who fell down the stairs, and she conked out, blacked out in her head, and snapped her ankle, like terrible, back, whatever. She got out of her body. She was kind of almost dead. And when she came back, she was a total atheist. Now she's like on a super spiritual path. Started painting these giant conscious like scapes. I mean, like she just, this little thing cracked open a conscious thing on her head, and went at it like her hair was on fire. And she, telling me why there's no God. It's not possible. And now it's like, wow, everything is possible. And, because I've been to the other side. And it's like, if everybody had that moment, some moment in their life, I think about that sometimes. Well, what if everybody just kind of was conscious for a minute, In the middle of America.
Yeah. Well, there's I don't know if I've never really been totally into the solstices. I've known that they were coming. I've had friends who were really into it. But this solstice apparently is coming on the 21st of December, is a huge event actually for indigenous people of all kinds and for spiritual people. It's the first time that Jupiter and Saturn have been so close in hundreds and hundreds of years. And for the last 200 years, Saturn has been in Capricorn, and on the 21st it moves into Aquarius. So the Capricorn is very material and money and yeah, and Aquarius, more people, groups, flow.
The dawning of the age of Aquarius. Wow. Yeah. And I understand we're supposed to go into some kind of golden age. Not everybody.
Well, that also what I heard as I was reading and listening to it is that there's going to be a real split of consciousness, and people who are more into the higher consciousness are going to go up into this consciousness, and the people who aren't there will go into this consciousness because they really wouldn't do well moving into this because I guess it's so far away or something. So I don't know about that, but
Sounds like Armageddon, doesn't it?
kind of. Here's what I have to say to that. I'll show you my attitude with a lot of this stuff.
Banana.
My husband bought me two of these guys because
I love the Minions.
I don't know what it is about. They're just so frigging cute, and they just, what they're saying, but you don't even know their language, and they have a great point of view. They're
I
never
love
really
those
bad.
guys. I love Despicable Me.
I do too.
I want a unicorn.
So, and they even do.
That's what's it.
Yeah, I thought you would appreciate that.
I like that.
Ooh la la.
The shift. I don't really. I mean, did you see some of the light messages? Like, I guess I have some spiritual teachers, and they sent Sai Baba had been giving out these light messages, and at the beginning of the confinement talked about, what was happening.
No, I didn't see that.
I'll send that to you.
Please do.
Talks about that, and then I guess teachers kind of present themselves while you're on your path, and then they I guess for me, they're pushing me, lifting me up a little, but I have to do the work to get there. So
Yeah.
but it's a little frightening when you hear about the split, and then some people will go here and some people will go here, and these people won't experience life the way these people are experiencing life. The ones that have done the work, the ones that have really put themselves there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's all really it's what intrigues me too is the levels that we have to peel off and discover underneath. And like you say, it's work. It's not it's just like anything. You have to work to get familiar with it so that you can use it, and operate with it. It's like music is a tool, right? And we're using music to do what we were talking about before, heal people, heal ourselves, and basically that's it, give love to people.
Give love to people.
Yeah. You remind me of a friend of mine, and I can't think of who it is because you're not always speaking like them, but every now and then you do a little something, and I'm like, oh, who is that? See what we were talking about before. It's that. I always thought about that, like if I had a friend and I really liked something about that person, then I had, I repeated that friend later, or a mock-up of that friend that had that thing. Then I realized, oh, it's me. I'm creating this person in my life, because I have lessons to learn with them. And also that part that I like is me too. It's the thing that I like about myself. And that thing I don't like is the thing I don't like about myself. Right. So it's really it's all a lesson, isn't it, Sacha?
It's like never ending when you say that you're peeling the layers. I feel like it's the biggest onion I've ever seen in my life. You just peeling and peeling and crying and peeling and smiling and peeling.
Right, crying too.
Yeah, crying. Something I'm good at.
That's okay, why not? Let's see. Hey, my Facebook isn't moving. Let me see on this one. Is my Facebook moving on this one? Let's see. Always have to make sure that my Facebook is moving on that one.
Had that thing.
All right.
One thing I wanted to say thank you for is you inspired me to do something in the business sector of music. I think I was maybe 24 at your house. And you had on your table an invitation for jazz, the LA Jazz Society. That was some kind of, how they always have the parties and whatever.
Yeah.
And you were getting invited to something, and I don't know who was on there, Quincy Jones and blah, blah, blah. And I saw that, and I said, well, that's a smart lady. She's in the business side of the jazz. And I thought to myself, I hadn't really gone in that direction. And when I saw that invitation, it inspired me, I think 24 years old. It inspired me to go in the direction of business, looking at the industry a little bit different. Just seeing that your invite, seeing that invite, and it was on your kitchen counter.
Yeah.
And so then I joined that, and of course now I'm like a Grammy voting member for like 12 years, and my degrees are actually in business and marketing and not in music.
Oh.
And I always thought, why don't I use those? And so seeing that invitation that you left on your counter, I went home and I fervently joined everything that I could possibly join, and went and
oh my God.
And I'm going to go into, because I remember you talking about industry stuff.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, what am I doing? Just like showing up at jam sessions and singing. I'm going to be, this is a business. And I remember buying every music of business book and whatever, and reading, and so I did that because of that invitation on your counter.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah. And it's funny, you didn't even remember I was at your house.
No, but when you said Gretchen, I kind of the feeling of it comes back that you would be here, so but I didn't just kind of, just remember.
But somebody posted on their Facebook the other day, which I found interesting. She said, you never know what words you use that inspire others, or what you are doing that is inspiring others, because you don't actually know who's watching you.
Right.
And that really hit me, because I thought to myself, negative or positive, whatever I'm posting is attracting whatever's coming that way, and what people are seeing or how they're feeling, I might influence. So really want it to be more elevated. And I went to this person and I said, this is a really nice post, thank you. And she said, you've inspired me in so many ways, I just wanted to thank you. And I had no idea. She wrote me this beautiful message, and I thought, really little things about how we're living, other people are actually perceiving. So I think that when you think about it, it was something so small on your counter that inspired me. So you never know actually what you're doing as a person that is going to inspire another person or help them or whatnot.
Absolutely. And that's why, again, I say the responsibility of an artist is to reach people, and in my book, it's to live as honestly as you can, and portray that so that other people can do the same thing. And they don't even necessarily have to know what words are describing what we're doing. They just get it because the action is truthful,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You and I are on the same
wavelength,
same path. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun path, isn't it?
It's the only path there is to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I take some bad nosedives sometimes, though.
Well, we all do because we're human.
But as Red Hollow used to tell me, you have to get your teeth kicked in to be able to sing.
Jeez.
People-
Ooh.
My mentor, Daddy Red, and he used to say, "Woman, you gotta get your teeth kicked in before you can really sing. Who's gonna believe you if you haven't lived it?"
There you go.
I'm surprised I have teeth left.
Let's see. I just want to. Oh yeah, and the solar eclipse is today, so the age of Aquarius is here.
Today. It's the
Yeah,
14th.
today.
Isn't it the 21st?
No, the solar eclipse is today. The solstice, the winter solstice is the 21st.
If there's an eclipse, that means that it's like an amplified day, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
in Buddhist traditions, those days are like your good deeds and works are like amplified on those days.
Yeah, so it's very fitting that you and I should have this conversation that we've been having,
Yeah.
you know.
Very energetic days.
Very. And oh, Roland, that's a really good statement. Remember, to the other person, you are the other person. That's great. I love that. That's good. I'm going to quote you on that, man. Thank you. I have to copy that, Roland, and paste it somewhere. Thank you. Well, it's been 2 hours.
That's too fast. That was fast.
I know, it's really fast. We have to do it again.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what's neat? What would be really neat if we had that talk again one day. I've been wanting to do a panel with some women that are like us, like Tierney Sutton is like that. And
Yeah.
There's another singer in Paris, Leslie Lewis.
oh, I know Leslie.
A lot of wonderful women
Yeah.
that are on that path like us. And I think that would be a really fun conversation if we had them all in a loop together.
Yeah. I know people. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people who think like that, but I know some people who are a little more like that, you know, who our conversations generally go there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's do that.
Yeah. Easy. We can call it some creative
Spiritual singers.
No, something
No.
a little more creative, you know. But we'll come up with a name, I'm sure.
Vibrations.
Yeah. Let's do that. I'd love to do that.
Okay. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being on. And now you have a bunch of new fans too. And it's been really fun having you here. Thank you for being on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for doing this for artists and for, giving us a little time to come on and chat about music and art, and then, for the world that gets to see all this. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm also just going to tell people that tomorrow I'm having another singer who's actually I haven't really had long conversations with her for a long time. I mean, 30 years or something, but her name's Darlene Coldenhoven, and she's been one of the top studio singers forever. She sang with Claire Fisher's band, which is, when you know that, because Claire Fisher was, mental for his quality and intonation of his singers and abilities. She sang with him, and so she's done a lot. And but also she took a spiritual path, and very interesting. So she's on tomorrow, and then Wednesday, extremely talented pianist and singer and composer named Bill Cantos, who's really.
Bill. I've sang with Bill before.
Oh, cool. Well, he's so talented, and he's a successful person, I'm sure, in our terms of success. So that's Wednesday. So it's just really, really wonderful. And also, for those of you listening, I have a scat workshop on Saturday from 11 to 1:30 my time, and you can go find that information out on my website.
Fun.
So, Sasha,
Can I say one more thing to everybody watching?
please do.
I have a single coming out, so please download it if you can. Nice people listening. It's Last Christmas. It's George Michael's Last Christmas, and Kevin Flournoy produced it with me.
When does it come out?
Well, it was supposed to come out on Friday, but there's a back order on iTunes, and they just have me waiting. So hopefully it'll be out this week. And then I sang it also in French, so it means something completely different. It's totally terrible in French. It's French lyrics like, "Oh, I can't live without the man that cheated on me, so please come back because I will die without you." You know, it's fantastic. It's totally a victim song. I would never be that. Ever again.
French songs can have that. Yeah. You know, Brazilian songs always crack me up because the Portuguese always talks about everything. You know, I'm going to kill myself. I am so over the moon in joy, you know, in the same song, you know, love is so beautiful and love is such shit, you know, just in one song. It just makes me laugh.
It's funny. It's funny. It's like a bipolar song. They work. They work.
So, how do we know that the single is out?
I'll post a link. Does this interview stay up for a while?
Yes.
Okay. I'll post a link on here when it's out
Oh, okay.
for the pop song.
All right. Okay. Well, have a great day, rest of the day in San Diego there. And when are you going back to Paris?
Probably in February, maybe March, maybe April.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Haven't figured it out yet. Probably in spring
Yeah.
when we're in bloom.
Your home is already set up in Paris, right? I mean, everything is there. Yeah.
I live at the foot of Montmartre, of Sacré-Cœur. Like I just walk up the stairs and the big white church is right there.
Hmm.
So there's a bell serenade around 3:00 and it's absolutely heavenly. It's just like these beautiful bells and it just feels like another time in that moment. You know, it's just, well, Paris doesn't seem, the whole world is not what it is right now. So
Yeah.
I'm curious how it will come back.
Yeah.
Especially
Me
there.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
I think they had a lot of lessons to learn collectively as a
You think mankind, we were like kind of going down the hole and somebody went, wait a minute. Let's stop for a second. You guys can think for a minute, you know? Oh, okay.
an excellent opportunity, right?
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mwah.
So do I just do you end this or do I?
I can end it.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the nice people I see on here.
Bye, Sash.
Thank you, Cathy.
You're welcome. Thank you.